In this video, we're going to have a look at making equivalent percentages, fractions, and decimals. Percentage means out of 100. I've drawn a square of a 10 by 10 grid, and I've shaded 20 boxes. 20 out of 100 represents 20%, or 20 over 100 as a fraction, which will then be simplified to 1/5. As a decimal, it represents 0.2. So we have percentages, fractions, and decimals. Let's now have a look at percentages to fractions. Percentage is a fraction with a denominator of 100. To convert percentage to its fraction equivalent, we write the percentage over 100 and simplify. For example, 5% is 5 over 100, which simplifies to 1/20th. Or 62.5% is 62.5 over 100, which simplifies with a little bit of working to 5/8. Similarly, a percentage can be converted to a decimal by first writing it as a fraction with a denominator of 100 and then dividing by 100. For example, the 5% before was 5 over 100. And instead of simplifying, we actually go 5 divided by 100, which is 0.05. 62.5% being 62.5 over 100. 62.5 divided by 100 is 0.625 as a decimal. Converting fractions to percentages. If the denominator is already over 100, it's quite easy. For example, 2 over 100 is just 2%. Or perhaps it's a factor of 100, such as 7 over 20. Well, 20 is a factor of 100. If I multiply the numerator and the denominator by 5, I get 35 over 100, which equals 35%. But what if the denominator isn't a factor of 100? We know that 1 equals 100 over 100, or 100%. So if we multiply something by 100%, we've just multiplied it by 1. So let's take the example 2/3. Converting to a percentage, we would multiply it by 100%. We get 200 over 3%. 3 goes into 266 times, and it has 2 remainder. So we would write our final answer as 66 remainder 2, but the 2 still has to be divided by 3, so we have 66 and 2/3%. Let's do another example. 3/7. 7 isn't a factor of 100, so we're going to multiply it by 100%. We get 300 over 7%. 7 goes into 342 times with 6 remainder. The 6 still needs to be divided by 7, so we get 42 and 6/7%. Converting decimal to percentages. If the decimal is 1 decimal place, we write it over 10. For example, 0.6 is 6 over 10. To now then make an equivalent fraction over 100, I'd multiply the numerator and the denominator by 10. So I get 60 over 100 being 60%. If the decimal is 2 decimal places, DP for short, such as 0.05, I put 0.05, I put 5 over 100, and then I simplify to 5%. Or if it's 3 decimal places, 0.375 for instance, I have 375 over 1,000, and this would simplify to 37.5 over 100 by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 10, and I get 37.5%. That is making equivalent percentages, fractions, and decimals.